of Wichita, and happy Valentine's Day. Yay, I am Patty Yoon. I will be your platform leader this morning. Art Handy will be sharing today's message. We will have music by various artists, and Sam Jones will be sharing today's meditation and affirmations. So let's give them all a hand. Yay! That is fantastic. We just welcome everyone who is here this morning. And our greatest desire is that you are inspired by today's message, the music, the meditation, and by Valentine's Day, filling our hearts with love. You are a blessing to us if you have joined us this morning. And the power of the month is love. That is the power of the ability to harmonize, to unify, to desire, to attract oneself to and feel affection for. And with that power of love, let's say our mission statement together: inspiring spiritual transformation as a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community. And with that same power of love, let's say our statement of being together. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe: God the good, omnipotent. Again, we want to welcome everyone who is with us this morning today. We especially want to welcome those of you who are joining us here for the very first time. We are honored that you are here with us, and our hope is that you are blessed by today's service. That is fantastic. And we hope that you bring into yourself, wherever you may be on your spiritual journey, whatever works for you. Unity is a worldwide ministry dedicated to the ongoing awareness of the spirit within all. Keep what works for you and just gently release the rest. And we hope that we all can get together again soon and meet you in person. But for now, let's just bless everyone who is watching. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. Thank you. And happy Valentine's Day.
Good morning. Let us move into a time of prayer. So I just invite you to just take a moment to relax and allow your mind and allow your heart to become open, aware, and available to the intimate presence of God, fully and completely present right where we are. Wherever we are, God is. This is a truth that is effective in our most lucid moments when we are intimately aware of God. However, the divine is also present in those moments where we may forget. That is a grace upon us, that God is intimately present in its fullness at all times. So we just open and avail ourselves, and we allow that presence, we allow ourselves to experience that presence as an intimate divine flow within us. God is constantly flowing forth in us, through us, as us, seeking expression in us, through us, and as us. And we open ourselves to be this conduit, this vessel through which God expresses through our eyes and what we see, expresses through our acts of generosity, compassion, and service to ourselves and to those around us. And we affirm this presence everywhere, present, expressing through all beings, through all things. We affirm God's presence in those places and spaces where there is celebration, where there is thanksgiving, and where there is security. And we affirm God's presence in those places and spaces where there is uncertainty, unsureness, insecurity. We affirm God's presence for those who are in a place that is warm. And we affirm God's presence in those places where people are subject to the elements, to the weather. We affirm God's presence where there is suffering, where there is a need for healing, where there is a need for peace and reconciliation. And we affirm that God is the essence of that warmth, the essence of that healing, the essence of peace and reconciliation. And we affirm that minds and hearts everywhere are open and available to that flow of God that will bring about that peace, that healing, that compassion, that sense of service, that justice. We affirm God's ever presence, always presence. And we are so grateful for that knowing. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Now my hands do your work, and now my lips speak your truth. And now my life is the image of your love, Spirit in me. Sings your song. Now my heart is at peace. Now my soul is the laughter of a child. Spirit in me. Of your love, Spirit in me. Now my voice sings your song. Now image of your love, Spirit, Spirit in me. Spirit, Spirit in me. Spirit in me.
Spirit in Me. This song by Michael Gott calls upon us to receive and become aware of the Spirit in me and the Spirit in you. So I invite you in this moment to close your eyes or soften your gaze as we move into a space of sacred meditation. As you breathe, allow your body to simply soften with each breath, allowing your body to feel safe and secure in your seat and in your space, knowing that you are fully supported, not only in your body, but in your heart, your mind, and in your consciousness. As we move through this meditation, I invite you to allow my words to wash over you and receive these words as your own. As we affirm together in silence that I am the presence of love. I am the expression of love. I am love. Love is spirit fully expressed. Love is spirit fully accepted. And just as the song said, Spirit is in me, I claim now, Spirit is me. I am spirit. My hands, my eyes, my voice, my mind, my thoughts, each of these are the spirit that I am being expressed and demonstrated in the world around me. As I welcome this truth in my heart and I feel that resonance rise within me, I know I am one with God. I am one with the divine. I am one with the one. My heart, my hands, my voice, and my vision are that of God seeing itself being manifest in the world. And in that experience, I am jubilant. I dance within my heart, within my body, and I know that I am love. I am attracting the health, the peace, the presence, and the joy of God. For I am here. And as I reflect upon this experience of joy, love, and expression, I hold this and allow it to manifest even more deeply within every cell of my body in this moment as we move into the silence. I invite you to gently inhale and feel that very breath recharging your awareness, recharging your peace, and recharging the acceptance of the truth that I am love. I am spirit. I am the expression that others see and recognize the truth of love within themselves. And I am grateful. As we move into an affirmation, I invite you to affirm with me. I express love because I am love. I express wholeness because I am wholeness. And I express joy because I am filled with the joy of the divine, and all is well. And so it is.
Whether you're different, same ignorant or intelligent, whether you tell the truth, lie or embellish it, whether you live in gratitude or for the hell of it, it doesn't really matter, it's still one single fellowship. Whether you've been lustful or living celibate, whether you're an optimist or only see the negative, whether you're dead broke or rich from inheritance, doesn't really matter, we're made of the same sediment. Whether you got a family or single parenting, or you're Asian, African, European or American, whether you pray to God or atheist is irrelevant, cause what you got inside is the same, it's all your preference. It'll change your heart, it'll change your mind, and then you'll start to change. So keep loving, you touch everyone you see will soon become your family. Do you see yourself in the troubled and the homeless. Can you say everywhere you are is where your home is? Sharing your heart in the dark just like a lotus, letting your light shine bright so you can flow there. Everlasting love of grace like those did Jesus, Muhammad, Krishna, Buddha, and Moses, who carried the weight of the world upon their shoulders. So every time you fall down, go ahead and hold this close to your heart, cause you're a love soldier. And every time you get a chance, you pay it forward. Moving closer to heaven's gates, we're all soaring. Because of you, love is where we're headed towards. Despair, gotta spread the love where nobody cares. Gotta keep on loving, gotta keep on sharing, gotta keep on trying, gotta keep on caring, gotta keep the light on through dark and despair. So keep loving, it'll change your heart, it'll change your mind, and then you'll start to change. So keep loving, everything you touch, everyone you see will soon become your family. So keep loving, gotta keep on loving, gotta keep on sharing, gotta keep on trying, gotta keep on caring, gotta keep the light on through dark and despair, gotta spread the love where nobody cares. Gotta keep on loving, gotta keep on sharing, gotta keep on trying, gotta keep on caring, gotta keep the light on through dark and despair. So keep loving, it'll change your heart, it'll change your mind, and then you'll start to change. So keep loving, everything you touch, everyone you see will soon become your friend. So keep loving.
Oh, sorry. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. This is a day for loving, for lovers. So if you have your Valentine today, make sure you spoil that person and smother them with love and just joy and appreciation. And hey, for whatever reason, if you don't have a Valentine today, I'll be your Valentine. And here's your big hug from me. Oh man. Oh man. Explorations in Love, the after party. I thought I was done with this series last week. I thought I was done, but in a moment of reflection on the series and gratitude and appreciation, I kept getting more uploads, like there was more to say. And when that happens, I've been in that space before. That is me interpreting spirit to say that there is more to say on the subject. So go ahead and go with the flow. Go with that flow of love and allow that to just come out and express. So hey, it's going to be an after party today when we talk about and explore this subject of love, which I could go on from now to the rest of the year, but I don't want to overdo the subject, but this will be the final part in this particular series. As you know, if you've been following along in this series, there's a particular scripture in Matthew that I've been drawing from in the teaching of this series. It just happens also to be my favorite scripture, and it comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 37 through 40, and you can see it right there. Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and in all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. And we've gone into these two particular commandments. Jesus referred to them as the two greatest commandments. And we talked about what it is that makes those two commandments alike. And in short, what makes those two commandments alike, because in order to carry out those commandments, it requires that we recognize our spiritual significance. And we move into a space of awe and reverence and love for that spiritual significance. Each and every one of us are the Christ. Each and every one of us are this embodiment and this vessel for God's perfect idea for man. We know that the Christ is the eternal structure in which and through which all of reality makes itself manifest. And each and every one of us are a particular manifestation of God or this true reality. So when we recognize that, we know that love is a presence within us that we can embody as well as express. But check this out. What if you don't love yourself? Sometimes we can find it challenging to really come into a sense of reverence of ourselves, an understanding and an awareness of ourselves, to where we can truly say that we can truly love ourselves. What happens if we don't feel that love within ourselves, especially if we have misfortunes or setbacks? Even if we do have a general healthy regard for ourselves as a baseline, there are moments and times in our lives, moments of challenge, where we really may not have a real inner sense of loving ourselves or appreciating ourselves. In all honesty, I experienced that this past week. I'm undergoing some challenges in my life right now that have arisen that have kind of rocked the boat a little bit. And in those challenging moments, in the thick of it, it was very hard to really perceive that love or really perceive God's presence in that moment. And all of us experience that from time to time if we are being honest with ourselves, because it's part of the human condition. It's very good in times like these, or it's very good in general, to keep up spiritual practices so that when we move into these places and these spaces, we can have a sense of being able to navigate. One of the things that is a part of unity philosophy that is taught is the law of mind action. And the law of mind action says that thoughts held in mind produce after their kind, or another way of saying it is thoughts and feelings held in mind produce after their kind. So it's an invitation for us to be mindful of our inner world, our internal dialogue, to make sure that our internal dialogue and our inner thoughts are in alignment with our highest good and greatest possibilities. And to the degree and extent that we have thoughts that embody our highest good, thoughts that embody God possibility, that attracts to us, or we bring ourselves into more thoughts that complement those initial thoughts. And so we build this inner environment of possibility and potential and awareness. And then the more that we do this, there's an invitation for us to choose actions and choose our steps that's in alignment with this internal awareness and possibility. And then it makes for a more rewarding and enriching experience in life. When it comes to this idea of love, it's very healthy to be mindful of loving thoughts and loving ideas and loving possibilities that we can nurture and flower and grow within us, so that this phenomenon that we're calling love grows within us. And then it gives us a baseline through which we see the world, through which we show up in the world, and through which we relate to other people in the world. And what you see there on the screen is these different phases of love that as we nurture this sense of love within us, that we can move through. The goal is to be love, as Sam elucidated in that meditation. Not just experience it, give it, or receive it, but be it. And being love is about making the choice to nurture that inner sense of love within us, to feel that love viscerally, to see it, sense it, feel it, and know it within. And choosing those practices that enhance that. Be love. And the more that we're able to be love, it gives us a greater capacity to be loving. So that if love becomes a ever increasing reality in our inner world, then it makes it more likely that we can be loving in the external world, or we can be loving in our internal world that manifests itself externally in how we relate to people and how we understand people and how we interact with others. And then the more that we nurture this sense of being loving, we can be lovable. Where when people experience us and when we experience other people, it is a possibility to exhibit a way of being to where you just draw love to you. And so we can be loved. And the more that we do this, it gives us eyes to see everyone and see everything through the eyes of love. And oftentimes when that happens, when we can see others through the eyes of love, one of the expressions that we use or we can use is we refer to other people as beloved or beloved, because we hold them within a space of love. When I think about the statements that Jesus made in regards to love, we have that scripture that is kind of the foundation of this series. Jesus even had the audacity to tell us to love our enemies. Easier said than done, right? To love our enemies. But this is what Jesus said. Jesus advised us to love one another as he loves us. Again, easier said than done. And there was a time where I really struggled with some of those statements that Jesus made pertaining to love. Turn the other cheek. When someone strikes you on one cheek, turn the other cheek. And even the idea of loving your enemies. I struggled with those types of scriptures for a long time, until I kind of got the MO of what Jesus was speaking about. And what Jesus is really inviting us to do is to not make our experience of love solely an experience of what someone does for us, how someone treats us. And so we get our cues for experiencing love from external elements. The real invitation is to embody and grow in this sense of love internally and create this inside out dynamic, to where as we interact with people and as we step in the world and as we choose the things that we're going to do, we choose them and experience them and see them from a place of love within us. And that's why spiritual practice is so very important, because when we can engage in spiritual practices that nurture this sense of love within us, that's the goal and that's the key through which we can engage in the world. I came to a realization recently. I'm not native to Wichita. Most of you know that I was born and raised in Los Angeles. Many of my family members are there and loved ones. In thinking about them, I think about my family and my friends there all the time, all the time. They're never far from my heart. I came to a realization recently that a lot of my actions as of late relative to reaching out and touching them are not really consistent with the love that I carry and the love that I feel. Believe me when I tell you, there isn't a day that goes by that I don't think of my family and friends back home in Los Angeles. Not a day that goes by that I don't think about it. Yet I don't always reach out to them. I don't always take steps to take actions to express to them how much they mean to me and how much they think about me and how much I think about them, I'm sorry, and how much I care for them. So I got a little sad and a little disappointed with myself because they don't have a real-time sense of what I feel about them. So I got kind of sad, but then came to realize, you know what? I can always begin again. So a lot of my guy friends that I grew up with in the same neighborhood, we're on this group text, and every so often when things happen, we're texting on this group text back and forth. So last week, while the Super Bowl was going on, we were all engaged in this group text about the game, and you know, I know there's a lot of disappointed Chiefs fans out there. Just want you to know I'm holding you in my arms because I know it was very disappointing. Anyhow, you know, so we're texting about the game and the halftime show and this, that, and the other. And during that time, I just really got this sense of how much I appreciated these dudes. I mean, we grew up together, we became adults together. We literally went from boys to men together, literally. And so in the middle of all this texting about the game and how bad the things are going for the Chiefs, and at least one of the guys was a Bucks fan, I just out of the blue texted, said, "Hey fellas, I know we don't see each other a lot, and it's been a while since we've all been in each other's presence, but I just want you to know that you all are never far from my heart, and I love each and every one of you very much." Very out of the box thing to do during a stream of texting about the game. And you know how guys are, you know, a lot of guys aren't really in touch with their feels, so to say. So I got all these responses like, "What got into you?" And one guy was like, "Is everything okay?" And then one guy is like, "Are you about to commit suicide?" Because they couldn't, that stream of thought was so way outside of what we were texting about in regards to the game. But I just caught a moment of love and appreciation for them and how much I miss them. And I just thought to interject that during a text. I'm not a guy who's not in touch with my feels. I'm very in touch with my feels, so I'm able to do that. But it was my way of just kind of letting them know in real time, you dudes are never far from my heart. I think about you all literally every day, each and every one of you, and I'm holding the highest and best for you. So what about in your life? Do the people in your life know in real time how much you love them because of a recent kind gesture or a recent kind act or a recent kind sentiment that you extended to them? If you don't, accept the invitation to renew that experience of love by reaching out and extending. Even if it's something as simple as a text saying, "Hey, I was just thinking about you, and I wanted you to know that I was thinking about you and that I love you." If you can do an act of service or pay a visit or do anything like that, hey, do that. And if you're in that space where you're not feeling the love within yourself, if you find it hard to come to grips with that, you know, you had some unfortune, some setbacks and you're unable to engender that sense of love within yourself, or even if you need help, like I did earlier this week, reach out to people who you know love you. Reach out to them and have them pray with you. Have them to reach their arms around you. Have them to remind you of how wonderful and beautiful and special you are. These are the practices that keep us engaged in thoughts of love. And again, thoughts and feelings held in mind produce after their kind. Sometimes we lose that line of sight on our real significance, and the people around us are there to remind us of who we are and to remind us of what we mean to them. I harp on this love so much because this is the kind of consciousness that the world so needs. And this inner dialogue of love is really captured in what Charles Fillmore is saying here from The Revealing World. Love is an inner quality that sees good everywhere and in everybody. It insists that all is good, and by refusing to see anything but good, it causes that quality finally to appear uppermost in itself and in all things. It literally allows us to see love in places that have the appearance of being unloving. Unloving. Our world and our country sorely needs this. Sorely needs this. The conflicts, the divisions, the things that are happening sorely needs this. We sorely need this. And when we are able to do this, we can experience more of the tentacles of love, empathy, compassion, service, justice, fairness, equity, and equality. We are literally starving ourselves, and we are literally choking our ability to spiritually breathe in many ways because we're not growing an environment of love. We're too wanting people to conform to our beliefs before we can be love. Jesus is giving us the invitation to grow that environment of love within us. That's the invitation, so that we can be that flow of love. We can be that conduit of God's love showing up in the world. That's what the invitation is. Don't make your experience of love dependent upon what somebody else does or what somebody else says. Or if someone does something that pisses you off that you don't like, we recoil and retract. That's not the invitation. We are love. We have the capacity to experience this love internally. And there may be moments of trial and challenge where we don't actually feel it, see it, or experience it. But that's why we have our community of loved ones to help us get back into that vibration. And love is a spiritual practice. Those things that we hope to accomplish spiritually, greater awareness, greater insight, more creativity, more abundance, experiencing healing in whatever areas of our life that we want to experience healing. Love is the conduit to magnifying those things. And that's why those two commandments are the greatest commandments. Our prayer, our meditation, our reflective moments, our creativity, our sense of service, all of those things are there, and our practices available to us that improve and engage our capacity to love God and love others as we love ourselves. It doesn't matter if you can meditate for 5 hours straight. If that's not increasing your capacity to be love and to be loving, then the point is lost. I want to ascend to the higher realms and get this expanded awareness and experience this abundance. All that's great, but if it's not leading to the end game and end goal of increasing our capacity to love, then it's an opportunity for us to recalibrate and get back into that vibration. And none of us are perfect, and all of us mess up from time to time. All of us, myself included, we mess up from time to time, but we can always, through divine grace, recognize that, dust ourselves off, recalibrate within our minds and recalibrate within our hearts, and get back to loving. Get back to loving. Get back to loving. Get back to loving and be love. God bless you.
Wow. I'm clapping for Art, and I'm clapping for all of us experiencing love together. We are so blessed here at Unity of Wichita by the music, the message, the meditation, and by love. And what a day for that love. So if you are inspired by today's message and the music, the meditation, and the love, please consider giving us an offering or blessing, a tithe. You can do electronically online with the electronic secure financial website of www.unityofwichita.org/donations. You can send a check directly to the church at Unity of Wichita, 2160 North Oliver, Wichita, Kansas 67208, or bring it directly to the church, but maybe not today. It's a little cold. Stay inside. And we just thank you for that. So whatever you are guided to give this morning, just hold it over your heart and say together the offering blessing on screen. Divine love flowing from me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. Amen.
Thank you, Patty. And as usual, you guys, there is a link beneath the post on social media and in the chat box here on Zoom. So we go into our announcements, and we've just got a couple this week. The first one is that the annual meeting is rescheduled. We mentioned this last week. Just keep an eye out on the e-blast, and we'll get the information out to the membership that needs it so that we can have our annual meeting on March 28th. Now, with that being said, there's one other thing that's been going on this week, and that is that some of you have gotten a visit from me for your Lenten books. And I just want to tell you that that has been just so much fun. I cannot tell you how much fun it's been to see your faces, to connect with you, to visit with you, and just be in space with you. It's been wonderful. Even though there's masks and hands in pockets and things like that, it's still wonderful. So thank you for allowing me to invade your personal space for a couple of minutes. And those of you who haven't gotten a visit from me yet, if we have your contact information, if you've sent that in, then I will be seeing you soon. Those of you who are out of town, we've been mailing out a Lenten book, so be on the lookout for that. And finally, we move back into our announcement slides, and we connect with our kiddos, the youth department that meets at 9 a.m. now on Sunday mornings. It was so fun to be able to hear about how the kids are connecting with Kelly and connecting with other youth staff and volunteers. And so we hold each and every one of them in our hearts and in our minds as we offer them a blessing. And that is, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. And with that, I lovingly send this back on over to Art.
We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. Thank you all so much for being the Sunday experience, and channeling that energy into our service today. We so appreciate you and honor you and always, always hold you in the highest and best. And from that spirit, we will move into our prayer of protection. You see it there on the monitor, and we will affirm peace afterwards. So let us affirm our prayer together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And as all is well, all is well. The truth of that statement doesn't reflect that every circumstance is to our liking. The truth of that statement reflects that there is always a presence where we are. And that presence is for our good. And that presence is the presence of peace. We are that presence. And from that place of knowing and awareness, let us silently affirm, I am peace. I am peace. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. God bless you.